Hi everyone, my name is Havish Madhvapati. Welcome to video number 11 in a series of 100 videos where I teach you how to recreate a consulting chart using Microsoft Excel and PowerPoint. What we have with us today is a McKinsey chart, and what we have is a trend line, or rather three trend lines, where we can see the S&P 500, we can see the through cycle outperformers and others. So we have the data here with us. We don't have the exact numbers, so the chart we create will not have the same trend line, but the formatting is what we are trying to replicate. I really like the chart. While the trend line by itself is fairly straightforward, I like the way that the trend lines have different colors. Also, the S&P 500, which is sort of the benchmark, is coming as a dashed line. And if you notice, the difference is also shown, which is 1.4x, 2.1x, 2.2x. And the downturn, recovery, growth phases that are shown at the back. So we have a lot of work to do. The initial chart will be created on Microsoft Excel. Then we will take it over to PowerPoint and do the rest there. So we have the numbers here. Let me again remind you, the numbers are not exactly the same as we have on the chart. So the trend lines might not be perfectly aligned, but the formatting is what we are trying to focus on. Let us go and insert a line that is pretty straightforward. Now here, I don't need the legend because in any case, the legends will be created manually. I also don't need the title. Now the first thing I want to do is to get the same color that we have here. So we go back to the PowerPoint. Let's go to picture format, picture border, and then the eyedropper. We very carefully take our eyedropper over the blue color that we see here and note down the number, which is 150, 203, 245. Let's right click on the line, outline, and go to more outline color, and here we can enter the RGB value. So to ensure that all of you write the correct number, let me do it one more time. Shape format, shape fill, eyedropper. Let us choose the blue that we have, 150, 203, 245. So 150, 203, 245. In fact, I can copy the other colors as well. So we have the gray that comes here, 102, 112, 122. So 102, 112, and then 122. And also the two grays that are coming as the phases at the back. So 240, 240, 240. And then we have 247 three times. Great. Now we can select the line, right click, we can select outline, more outline colors, and then we select 150, 203, and then 245. So we get the same color here. On this one, we again change the outline to more outline colors. Let's select 102, 112, and 122. But we also want the line to be dashed. So we can go to format, shape outline, and then in the dashes option, we can choose this one. And finally, On the third line, we again want to go to more outline color and select 240, 240, and then 240. Here we go. I think we do need one more color. So just to be sure. Okay, so this one is 84, 95, 106. Let's change the order so that we don't make any mistake. More outline colors. Yep, there we go. I think that looks pretty good. Now, if you also see the horizontal lines that are coming at the back, if I double click on them, we do have a few options that come here. Not a lot, but a few of them. So we can change the width. For example, we want to make it thicker or lighter. We can also change the transparency, change the color. Then you have dash types, joint types, so on and so forth. I do not think there's anything particularly that we want to change here. I think I'm fairly happy with how everything is looking. So we can let it be like this for now. I think that looks good. But in case you want to explore, you can see the other options. Now we have the y-axis. Now, if you see the example chart that we have, the sample from McKinsey, the interval sizes are of 100. So 0, 100, 200, and so on. And I would like to do something similar. So we can double click on the y-axis. And you can see here that the unit is set to 50. So I can make it 100. And when that changes, the grid line at the back will change as well. So the horizontal line is paired with the y-axis. So now this looks a lot cleaner, and we're also trying to replicate the example that we have. I think that looks good. I don't think we need to make any other change here at the moment. So let's copy the chart, come back to PowerPoint, and then paste it here. We will also take our chart here as a sample. And let's keep this on the side. Let's copy that one more time. Control C, come back, and Control V. All right. Great. Let's see what we have to do next. I'm just going to increase the size so it's easier for us to work with it. The first thing I want to do is to have these bands that are coming at the back. To do that, we can insert a shape. Now on the shape, we will remove the outline. Let's go to shape fill, eyedropper, and we can choose the same color that we have here. Let's copy the shape, and one more time we go to shape fill, eyedropper, and then choose the slightly lighter shade of gray. Now we want to align it and keep it like this. Now this is at 2009. And the next one is at 2012. We also want to select both of these, right click and then format. We go to fill and then increase the transparency a little bit. And this way we can see the lines at the back. Now, the problem here is that if you increase the transparency, then the color isn't quite the same that we have on the chart. So while the transparency is a great option, in this case, I would prefer to right click and then send it to the back. So because the gray shapes are coming at the back, the lines come in the front, everything looks great. Next, we would like to get these lines. Now these are double-sided arrows. So insert, shape, and we select a double arrow. Let's also change the color here. So we can choose the same color that we have on the line. And let's say we want to keep it here. We can also zoom in to make it a little easier to see exactly what we are doing. And because it's a chart that we have copied from the Excel, not an image, if you want to change the thickness of the line, I can go to the weight and decrease that just a little bit to 1.5. Same thing here to 1.5, and one more time to 1.5. I think that looks a lot cleaner. So we have the line here. Let's copy it one more time. Let's keep it in 2011. One more time, zooming in. Let's increase the height. And then one final time, we select 2017. Now do remember that our numbers might be a little different to the one that we have in the sample, because the numbers that I used for my chart look similar, but they are a little different. So we do want to check in 2009 what is the difference. So let's go back and quickly check that. So in 2009, if we compare the two, right? So we're comparing through cycle outperformance and others. So essentially, let's say A and C, we can see that 100 divided by 75, we have 1.33. So let's come back and we want to call this 1.3x, for example. So we need a small shape where the number can be kept. Let's go to insert, shapes, and make a rectangle. I will write 1.3x. Remove the outline, we remove the shape fill color as well, and we can change the font color to the same gray. Now we can just smartly bring it down, zoom in, and reduce the font a little bit. And here we go. In fact, we can increase the size maybe just a little bit. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Now we need for 2011, so we'll do the same thing. Let's copy this in 2011. We have 2.13x, or let's just call it 2.1x. So let's copy this. We have 2.1x, and then we need it for 2017. So let's copy the formula, 2.7x. Let's copy it one more time, and this becomes 2.7x. Let's select everything and shift it a little bit to the side. We can make this one a little smaller. The next thing I would like to do is to have the text. So we'll copy the shape one more time. Let's call it downturn. Shift it up a little bit. Let's make a copy. This becomes recovery, and then one more time. I want to make sure if it's in the center or not. So if we align it with let's say 2015. Yeah, I think it doesn't really matter. Let's keep it here. Let's call it growth. And we also want a crisis to be written above it. So let's call this crisis and then shift it right in the center. Okay, what else do we need? I need the legend so we can create another line. So insert shapes and we just need a simple line here. We want the same color as the first one. So shape outline, eyedropper, and then choose the same blue color. Let's keep it here. Copy the text, align it to the left, and let's call this through cycle outperformers. Let's copy this one more time. This one becomes S&P 500. Let's shift this up. And on the line, we want to change the color to the one we have here. And we also want to make sure to make the dash into a dash like this. And then one final time for others, select the line, shape format. We want a solid line, remove the dash, and the color will be the third one. Let's shift it a little bit. I'll copy the text box here. So we say a company's trajectory emerging from a challenging period such as the global financial crisis determine its performance over the next decade. Let's change it to bold and change the color to black. Below this, we want to add one more box where we say median TRS performance. Then we say index 2007, which is our first year, is equal to 100. Here we can keep the same color, but we'll reduce the size a little bit. There we go. Let's shift the entire thing. And what else do we need? We need a line at the top and exhibit 2 written. So I can just copy this line, keep it here, increase the width, and now we want to say exhibit 2, shift it to the left, and I think that's pretty good. There we go. It's not a perfect recreation, and that wasn't really the point. The intent of doing this example was just to give you a sense of how these slides are created. Some part of it will of course be done on Excel, the other is done on PowerPoint. Now, of course, consulting firms have tools at their disposal. So one is that they have internal tools that they use, and the other is that they have access to a lot of paid tools available. But then for our purpose, the fact that we were able to create pretty much the same chart, not with a lot of effort, not spending a lot of time, is fantastic. Of course, speed will come over time, but the fact that we can start by just taking inspiration and copying something that exists is fantastic. And then, of course, over a period of time, you can also continue to add your own pointers to it. So I hope you like the example. There wasn't anything particularly difficult about it, but I just wanted to take you through the entire process of recreating a chart, or rather a slide like McKinsey.